Hi everyone, I hope you're having a good day. I wanted to show you a little trick that I've learned over the years when it comes to works cited entries. Works cited entries can be really tough. I'm sure you figured this out already. And formatting them is just a tricky situation. Over the years, I've had so many students who have mentioned to me, hey, Kelly, I've got this really good program that puts together my works cited entries, things like Citation Machine or ProCite, different places like that. Even Word has a way to put your citations together. Unfortunately, these programs don't do a very good job. They really only are as intelligent as you are, which isn't, I'm not saying that you're not intelligent, I just mean that if you don't know something's not needed and you put that information into these programs, it won't take it out or fix it for you. So unfortunately, you kind of have to have a basic knowledge of citations in order to do them right, in order even to use the citation machines, which don't work well. There is one way around this, and if you're using articles directly from the library database, there is a great way to create your citations, and I'm going to walk you through that now through the screencast. What you have to do is you have to go to the library database. So if you go over here to the corner on the top of the website and you go into library, and then if you're at the research station, if you pick databases A through Z and click on it, this will bring up all the databases that you can look at and that Chico State subscribes to. I'm not sure all of you are Chico State students, but many of you, if you're not a Chico State student, you should have a very similar library database availability for you at your school. This is what Chico's looks like. You can see the databases, and they're alphabetized A through W, because they're not a Z. These databases are basically set up by discipline. So a lot of these you'll look at, and you'll see, for example, over here in the L's, Literature Online, and that's called Lion, and it deals with literature. Directly underneath this is the Los Angeles Times Digital Archive, so you're going to deal with mostly newspaper articles. There's other really famous ones, LexisNexis, which is used a lot for legal documents. So there's a whole bunch of them. But the one that I think is best for new researchers is this one here called Academic Search Premier. Not sure where to start. It says at the top, go to Academic Search Premier. And if you click on that, you have to put in your portal. Let me do that really quick. If you click on that and you log in, it'll bring you to this page called EBSCOhost. EBSCOhost is also known as Academic Search Premier. And this is a place where you can search for academic articles. Now, some of this information is a overlap from the video that you watched earlier, but I'm going to show you something different here in a second, so hang with me. This is one of the best places to do academic searches because there's tons of information. It's a multidisciplinary database, which means that it has all different types of disciplines, from math to legal to English to newspapers to journalism to everything you can imagine. So it's a really great database to get used to using. I encourage you to check this one out. And of course, then you have to do a search. So I'm going to just do genetic modification, and I'm going to do, in the second box, ethics. This is one of the things that I think is really interesting. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Make sure you spell it right. About the book, and it's a subject that I'd be interested in researching. Let me quickly talk with you about the Boolean phrases. Over here in the corner, you have a box, and you can pick and, or not. Let me just quickly tell you what those are. And means that you're going to tell the database to go out there and look for all articles, all materials that have both the words genetic modification and ethics. So actually this will shrink your search, or does the opposite. I know it's kind of the opposite of what you think it is. Or tells you to go out into the database and look for everything that has genetic modification or ethics. So it actually gives you more, but you might get stuff you don't want. And then the last one is kind of tricky, and it's not. Not means that I want you to go out into the database and look for everything about genetic modification and not ethics. It doesn't really work in this case scenario, but let me give you another one. It works in the case scenario, say you were looking up Dallas and you were looking up cowboys. And you can imagine when you would do a search, if you have Dallas and you have cowboys, you're going to get the football team, right? Maybe you don't want football. Maybe you're really looking for, cowboys, the ones that wear hats and ride horses. In, Dallas, you could put not football, and it would kick out anything that has football references. So not can be really useful when you're doing a search and this thing keeps coming up and you don't want it, and you want to get rid of it. We're not going to deal with that today. We're just going to do and. We're going to look at both of them together, because I think otherwise I'm going to get stuff just on ethics, and I'm not really interested in that. This is Boolean phrase. This is where it's scholarly or peer-reviewed. These are articles that are peer-reviewed and put in journals. They're actually extremely valid, which is really great. And you might want to press that. You may not want to. You should have a couple of scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles for your paper. And then full text. I always click the full text box, because that means that it won't bring me results of stuff that's not available today in the database, and I don't want to wait around for articles. Okay, then you can press up here the search button. And when you click on the search button, it's going to bring up your articles. Interesting is if you go over here, it will tell you which ones that you've picked scholarly and you've picked full text. And then it has it set up right now with the source materials as all results. But if you unclick that, well, maybe you can't. Let me see. You should be able to click newspapers, and I think it's because we actually have set it as scholarly peer-reviewed. So I'll show you that again in a second without pressing that button. Actually, if I take this off here and I update it, there we go. It will tell you that there's 22 from academic sources and 5 from magazines. And then you can select that, like, oh, I only want the academic ones, I only want the magazines. So sometimes it's better not to do peer review. Then you would go through and read the articles, right? Let me show you a little trick really quickly. Say you like one of these articles. I'm just looking for one that looks interesting. They all look really interesting. I'm going to look at this one. If you click on the title instead of the full text, you're in a better situation. So when you click on the title, what happens is it brings up this thing called a detailed record. And here's what's cool about the detailed record. The detailed record will give you this abstract, which will give you anywhere from, a couple sentences to a 250-word summary on the article. Now, that's really cool to me, because sometimes you get into these articles and you don't want to read them, or they're not interesting. So say you read that and you go, nah, this is about the Netherlands and I'm not really interested. Then you can immediately go back and you can look for another article that that is more interesting. So maybe I like this one instead. So I'm going to go back, hit on the detailed record, and it will bring up all the information about the article. It also brings you some subject terms, which is cool, and some keywords, because sometimes you're not finding the stuff that you want, and this can give you another way to do a search. Again, here's my my abstract, 250 words, tells me a little bit about the article, and I can read this and I can go, oh, I really like this one. And then you can go ahead and read the article. To the left over here is the PDF full text. I'm going to click on that, and that would bring up the article in a PDF, which allows you to see the page numbers, which you would need in order to do in-text citations. And these kind of articles are long, and that's normal, and they take a while to figure out, so be prepared for that. But what I really want to show you is over here are these links. Over here you have some options. You have a printing link, you have an email link, You have a folder link, and let me tell you a little bit of piece of information about the folder link. If you put it in the folder link and you haven't signed in up here, it goes into no man's land. If you sign in up here, what it will do is it will make you create a new account, and then it will keep all of your articles for you. Moving on, there is a, come on, hover over this. This is the one I want, actually, so here's, it's doing add to the folder. Here we go. This is the Cite button, and this is what I'm looking for. If you click on the Cite button, it will bring up the Works Cited entry in a whole bunch of different formats. Don't use the export. It doesn't work really well. But if you scroll down, you'll see AMA, APA, Chicago Style, Harvard, and then here's MLA. And all you have to do, literally, is Control Copy. So you highlight it, Control Copy, then you go into a Word document. Here's a blank document. You do Control V, and then you got to get that highlight off. So you just want the actual text. You do that by picking Paste Options, which is Keep Text Only, and it will take it away. Then let me tell you about this really quick. On a pretty standard basis, this is pretty correct, and I'm going to see if I can move this down a little and you can see this. Because as you turn the formatting over, it's taken away some of the things that are correct on the page. Let me get the Word document back up and we can see it. Okay, there's a couple of tiny mistakes. One mistake is because when we copy and pasted it over, see how it didn't take the italics here for the journal title? So you can simply fix that by doing Control I, and that will change that to italics. And it again lost the italics for the title of the search engine. So you highlight this and you Control I, and it will turn that into italics. The other small mistake is a mistake from the person who has posted this into the Cite machine, and they've capitalized the last name and first name. So you want to get the all caps out, which is a pretty easy fix. And then you want to do a couple of formatting things. I just spelled that wrong. I'm sorry. Let me fix that. You want to highlight the entry, go to the paragraph function, make it double spaced, make sure that after is out. That's what's causing the problems for a lot of people. And you want to make sure that you have it as a hanging indent. And that will turn this into your first Works Cited entry. Remember, Works Cited should be centered. No extra space between. Everything should be double spaced. Everything should be probably Times New Roman is the best one that I use most of the time. I'm going there. It takes a while. I could have typed it in. It would have been faster. And then make sure it's 12-point font. Also, since I'm here and I know that this doesn't work most of the time because it's defaulted wrong, I'm going to make sure that my margins are 1 inch. And now I've got the beginning of my Works Cited page. Works Cited page, again, are a little tricky. I'm going to walk you through the information so that you know the information in case you're trying to compile them alone, which I don't encourage you to do, but sometimes you have to. So it goes author, last name, first name, title of the article in quotes, title of the journal in ethics, volume, point, issue, year of publication in parentheses, page range, search engine in italics, medium of publication, it means you just found it on the web, and the date that you retrieved it. And this is the standard organization structure for a Works Cited entry for a journal that's found in an academic article, for an academic article. Let me just save this really quick, and I'm going to try to find a newspaper article. All right. Let me just minimize that. I'm going to go back now to the detailed record. So I could go over here on the left and it'll take me back to the detailed record. And then I could go back to my result list. And I'm going to look at articles now that are from magazines because they are set up different. The Works Cited is set up differently, typically for a magazine